Spiritual theist.
It's amazing. I read books. Yes, it makes them a better version of all of us. I didn't work in a big truck like that, but I worked on this outside. People would drive we had a baby once when she put me on the spot.
Wait, we live? All right, if I can get everybody's attention, we are ready to get started here. Moto, is the lighting good, or do we need this light on over here behind the good? So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Paseo Pad. That is the beautiful space that you're all sitting in. Welcome, I'm so glad you're here. I want to welcome everybody who's joining us via live. We're actually trying to video this to create a library of the information that we hope to capture today. At the heart of Paseo Pad, one of the things that I know you all enjoy is delicious, amazing, nutritious, what I like to call green and clean food. I just believe it fuels our body, it gives us hope, it gives us healing, which is what we want to talk about today. So today we've actually had two inspirations. First of all, I couldn't have done it without Miss Betty standing here cooking in the background. We've been cooking for 2 days, there's lots of love that went into this food. I'm going to tell you guys and give you a full chef's presentation, but what happened with me in January is I actually did 10 days of fasting, and it went so good that I added 2 days, and I ended up going 12 days. When I came off of that fast, my body was craving vegetables and more vegetables and more vegetables. So that was inspiration A. Inspiration B is I've been doing a lot of Asian food. Like I've cooked Filipino this month, a little bit Thai. As you can see, this was nothing more than for me as a former chef, as you guys know. It was inspiration for me to get this walkout and cook up some fun. You guys saw the fun going on in the kitchen, right? Yeah. So definitely an Asian inspiration. Today what we have is some mixed organic greens with a tangerine basil inspired vinaigrette. Then on top we've got an Asian slaw, and then we have some fire roasted carrots. I've done a lot of fire roasted carrots. They're going to be fire roasted vegetables are going to be incorporated through the whole meal. But this is the first course, and as most of you know, I grew up in Brazil, fluent in Portuguese. In Brazil, we say saúde when we eat, drink, instead of sneeze, God bless you, we just say saúde, which means to health. So I present this to you guys. I hope you enjoy. And Sauji. You were part of the inspiration, so you get the first plate there. Did you end up with my phone? Or did I leave it outside? The funny thing is, I left my phone outside with the outline, so that'll be my first thing I need to remember, right, Bryce?
Enjoy.
So I'll give you guys a little heads up on what's coming. I'll show you our agenda. I can just go like that, Moto. No, well into the playing yet. I'll give you guys a little heads up about what's coming here. We basically got we're going to talk about how and why we do events like this at the Paseo Pad. We're going to share some of our in-house media strategies, bring Toby Pedford up here to talk about our executive coaching, what we want to do with media and AI. And then we're going to finish up by talking about our next big event, which is our launch party for the Super Bowl. So you guys are all invited back for the Super Bowl launch party. And then we'll have a Paseo Pad recap, talk about where we go from here, how we keep this going, kind of recap what we did today. And then at 12:30, we'll break from the live and go into a Q&A. I'm going to go into the next segment that we do want to capture, Moto. So if you're ready, if everything's good on your end, we'll go back to the Paseo Pad.
Double tap your home button. Double tap the home.
Let's see the home bed. Double tap home. Right there. Go logo. I'll go Filipino brunch in just a few minutes. Okay. So again, welcome everybody to Paseo Pad. I get a lot of questions about what is this, and in the early days I said it was an Airbnb type concept. That quickly became a modern day take on a bed and breakfast, and how do we do things differently if this was a modern day take. So food co-ops where we bring in different chefs, that was part of the initial vision for a modern day take on a bed and breakfast. But I really think there's three key elements. It's food, amazing food like you guys are enjoying. How's the food taste so far, by the way, guys? All right. Even vegan food can taste absolutely amazing. We put a lot of love into it, so that's what we shared with you today. But then also content creation. You can see we've set up in here to do content creation. There's going to be photo zones all over the house. One of them has been slowly unveiled here with our on-air sign, a phone from 1882. So that basically you can go on air whenever you come into the Paseo Pad, whether that's with a selfie or a photo zone. You know, if you have a team in here of 6 people and you want to check in and go on air, it's just a fun way to capture content, right? So content, and then artistry. We are in Paseo. There's a whole bunch of art galleries all among us. There's a whole bunch of artists that hang out in this community. We want to liven up the walls and bring in the local art. We want to liven up the backyard, turn it into a series of 7 different gardens, and have the Paseo art everywhere, basically, from inside to out. So those are the 3 components that are at the heart of this. But what I get more excited about is, you know, that's a big vision. That's a lot of moving parts, right? I'm excited about you being in here, because when people come in here, they catch the vibe, they enjoy it, they help create a new vibe. To me, this is at best a co-op community spot where we bring the best of the locals in and we raise awareness. For me, I'm part of what I would call the conscious community, the healing community, the nutrition community, and I want all of them coming in here and raising what we are all already doing, but now we have a space to do it in, right? So at the heart of Paseo Pad, what we really have here, guys, I like to ask this question, and you guys can tell me what you think. If a bed and breakfast went out for a night on the town, they hung out with their old buddy from college, Mr. Event Center, and they decided they wanted to have a little fun, so they went to an escape room. My question for you guys is, what do you think would happen as a result of their night out on the town? Anybody? Kathy's so choked up, she's coughing over this question. See, the answer is, I don't know either. I don't know either, but the result of that night out, the result of that threesome, if you will, the love child of that relationship is exactly what we have here at Paseo Pad. It's part bed and breakfast, so you can stay. It's part event center, more like for 1 dozen, half a dozen, all the way up to 6 or 7 dozen people, right? We're not trying to put 250 people here in here and have a house party. But up to about 7 dozen is our sweet spot. So most event centers are 100, 150 people, and there's nothing unique and quaint you can theme like this for small to medium-sized groups, right? So that's our niche for event center. And then lastly, it's the vibe. My next neon is going to say good vibes. Part of my brainchild and my background is psychology, so when people are really anxious, I notice they tend to say I'm sorry a lot. And the reason I notice that and I coach them through that is because I used to be anxious and I used to say I'm sorry a lot. So now people know when they come in here and they say I'm sorry, they say, oh no, I'm not. Because they know that if they say I'm sorry, it's nothing but a trigger for more anxiety, and I see it all around us. So my point in all that little random, philosophical, psychological rant of mine is that the next neon, the sign that goes up is good vibes. We want good vibes in here. You guys are part of the good vibes. You guys are bringing a new good vibe in here. So again, Paseo Pad, I like to call it stay, play, and vibe. And you can see we get to do all that today. Would you guys agree? Yeah. All right. Thank you for help creating that. That's the intro for Paseo Pad. Again, want to talk about food, so I'm going to introduce the next course, and then while you guys start eating the next course, how we doing on plating there, Betty? Did I go ahead and start plating? And I'll introduce the next course. In the meantime, we want to highlight to you guys a Filipino brunch that we just did. I'm very excited to be working with Moto and OTU Media because they've helped bring my vision to digital content. Part of what we want to do is offer their services in-house so that when you come in here and you go, I want to do something with content in a green screen, in the living room, in whatever, we just bring Moto in and we can coordinate all that in-house. So I'm excited to be working with them, and you'll see why when they roll out this video. We're going to share it right up here.
guys want to watch it again? I'm about to roll on the next section here. The good news is we've got a second course and we've got a third course. We've got a dessert after this. But this is the next course here. Again, vegan inspired Asian. This is part Filipino because we use chayote, which is a green papaya. We use Japanese style sweet potatoes. And we also have wood-fired broccoli, celery, wood-fired carrots, all mixed up into this. The sauce is Thai-inspired. It's a red curry. For those of you that don't like curry, I try to make this very mild and sweeten it out with coconut milk. So hopefully you're gonna taste coconut milk more than spice. But inside here is one of my favorites. I actually did a creamy risotto made out of cauliflower. Again, because I love and grew up with palm hearts or Brazilian comfort food, I cooked the palm heart, or what we call palmito, into the creamy cauliflower risotto. So again, saúde. I hope you guys enjoy. Saúde. And Dr. Rowe, you were part of the inspiration for today. So you get the end of the first plate. Thank you guys.
Fan clubs here.
Right. Ladies, ready for food service? Thank you. So what did you guys think of the Filipino brunch video we just shared?
It was nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Brought back good memories. Chef Prince was there. Thank you for being there again, Chef Prince. My good spot here at Mo.
It's good to know you can come and have an event right here.
Thank you. You probably ate a lot of Asian food. How long were you over there? Quite a while.
good. Yeah,
I
you're-
will tell you,
you're-
my best vegetarian meal ever had was in Keaton Resort.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I was not a fan at first, but after that,
Susan.
just the biggest fan. When it's done right, it's the best.
I agree. I've really enjoyed playing with Filipino food. I've got a Filipino, Kathy's gonna help me with a Filipino mama, I call her. She's a daughter of an authentic mama that cooks, a grandmama that cooks real Filipino food, so. How's everything tasting so far, guys? All right. So my primary purpose today was to share my vision for this Lunch and Learn series. My vision, first of all, is that this is like an orientation. It's a preview. You guys all get to hear what's coming, and I'm hoping that on the first Thursdays of every month, you'll help make this vision a reality. Just so you know, Paseo does something artistic every first Friday. I want to do something for healing and artistic and incorporate different elements on the first Thursday of every month. So I've titled this Hope for Healing Lunch and Learn series because I've got a 12-year patient journey that began when I was hit by a car riding a bicycle in New York. I was ironically enough training for a 420 mile ride across Iowa, and I was in the middle of a 60 mile training ride in Queens, New York, and I got it to a little beach town, and randomly somebody ran a four-way stop and hit me on a slow little beach corner after I just got done rolling down Queens Boulevard with traffic everywhere. So that started actually my journey in chiropractic, but unfortunately they led me to pills, and I went to Western model for about 2 years. I learned very quickly that the pills weren't working for me, and I felt the addictive bind. So one of the things that I did is I went all natural, and I've now got a 10-year journey of going in and out of natural style, heal my body. I've done this with CBD oil, infused oil. I've done this with nutrition. I've gotten the benefits and blessings of even coaching people with mushroom therapies at an executive health coaching level. And I say all that to say, from the very beginning of my journey till now, the one thing that I know for sure is healing comes from within. It comes from within our body. We have all been blessed with an immune system and all kinds of other wiring and circuitry at the DNA cellular level that is designed to heal itself. It's an amazing, amazing thing when we really think about it. Unfortunately, today, I think we get bombarded by disease and depression and mental health to where we're used to people being sick now than we're used to people going through healing, right? I call it healing mode. And see, the one thing I know from coaching is our government won't let me tell you how you can heal your body. I can't even suggest that. But I can tell you my experiences and how I got my body into healing mode, right? I know a whole bunch of people that are like that. And the reality is, the worst part is, I know a whole bunch of other people that were like me in that I spent most of 2023 completely losing hope. I lost hope that I could beat Lyme disease. I lost hope that I could get the pain out of my back. The pain and the stress was getting so bad that it was punching me in the heart. Thought I might just go any day, and quite honestly, I was ready because I lost hope that I could heal my body again. So part of the vision of Hope for Healing came from when I was really sick. I wished I could do this. Now I got the space to do it. But let me tell you guys what happened in my healing journey. I feel like God answered a prayer and brought me somebody that I needed as a friend and a mentor and a coach and somebody to give me hope for healing. And so first thing I want to do is thank Miss Charlotte, because she was truly an angel that showed up in my car when I was pumping out 60, 70-hour days driving Uber just to survive. And she was an answered prayer that led me also to Dr. Rowe. Dr. Rowe, within the first few weeks, he literally said, and now mind you, I've had 10 years of going to chiropractors, right? They've always helped me. I'm pro chiropractors. Charlotte was like, this guy's different. He was trained in Asia. He does things differently. Been to all kinds of chiropractors. I walk into this man and he touches me, shows me an x-ray, and he goes, yeah, you're not only having debilitating pain in your wrist, it's shooting, radiating up and down your arm from your shoulder. He said, that's from a pinched nerve in your neck. And then what he didn't even know is he said, and that's all stems from you overcompensating because you have this problem in your lower back, which is where the car hit me. I've always had a couple of problems down here, right? So he basically told me I was off up here because I was off up here, and he said, I can help you. And you know what? That sparked hope.
Charlotte sparked hope. Dr. Rose sparked hope when I was totally hopeless, guys. Yes, thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Rose. So, that's my backstory, and honestly, I could talk for 3 hours about what all I've learned and the amount of healing I've seen just by getting in the kitchen and doing things the right way, you know. That's where my journey started, where I started coaching people. But the reality is, y'all gave me hope, and I believe this is the perfect time to launch something I was too sick to do 3 years ago, which is provide hope to the people that are out there that have lost hope. Part of the reason we're doing this broadcast and we're capturing this information, and I just want to say hi to anybody who's joining us live right now and anybody who sees this delayed on video series. The reality is we're trying to put the right people in this room so that y'all can help me take it to the people you're already coaching, you're already serving food to, you're already doing mushroom therapy with, you're already doing your movie and your production with. I got the right angels in the room, sitting 3 of them right over here, right? So we have the right people to take this out there to you guys via live, via video. Thank you so much to OTU Media. I'm excited more about not just the hope we can create in here, but how we can take it out, and you guys can all help me get it in the hands of more people who need this information, right? All right. That's the vision. I thank you guys for so much for being the first and the preview really experience of Hope for Healing Luncheon Series. At this point, as you guys know, I have a very special guest already in the house. It's an honor for me to serve you food, Dr. Rowe, especially since you ate a lot of food in Asia. I hope this stood up. I like to say I don't cook Asian food, but I love doing fusions. So I love doing, you know, just gourmet level international fusions, and I try to combine 3 to 5 continents on every plate. So I think you guys got about 3 continents today. Glad you enjoyed it. But at this point, guys, I want to bring up Dr. Rowe, have a chat with him. Come on up, Dr. Rowe. You guys help me welcome Dr. Rowe. Thank you. Good spot for us here, Moto. Thanks, sir. So again, you know, I feel like I did a proper introduction of Dr. Rowe from my experience level. I won't go too much into his background and what he's doing currently and even how he was trained, because I want you guys to hear more from him about what his experiences have been. But he definitely has not only been trained and has years of experience as a chiropractor. He teaches other people, trains other people. He's multifaceted. He's a serial entrepreneur like myself. I found out yesterday he's got multiple entrepreneurial projects going. But what I found most fascinating is that he was trained in Asia, and I know that Asians have a different way of doing things. And quite honestly, guys, if you look at the life expectancy of America going down and Asia staying stable, they're doing something right. So tell us about your experiences in Asia and what kind of training did you even receive over there?
Well, whenever you're being trained, you always want to have a knowledge that goes into experience, because, you know, we can have a book knowledge, but until you experience it, it's really hard to understand it. So being able to put your hands, one of the things I learned is your heart. Out of your heart is the fountain of joy, and it goes through your head, and that's where the logic happens. But the hands are the extension of your heart, and so intention is very, very important. And I see that intention in you. So.
Thank you. What do you think is the precursor, or what needs to come with the intention?
Well, truth, because truth mirrors itself, you know. And if we try to look at ourselves and find the answer from ourselves, it's going to be a little bit harder. But when we have people together that have already done it before, we can actually use that as a model and become ourselves even more clearer, and our priority with our passion now becomes purposeful.
Absolutely.
So if we add purpose to who we are, knowing that's what we're supposed to do, then the results are so much higher.
Absolutely. Where would you say, I noticed you talked about heart too as part of this, so where does love fit in with all of that you just mentioned?
Well, it's like positive and negative. You know, positive and negative are present at all times. But they don't coexist at the same time.
Absolutely.
So being positive in this world, I see it as love and gratitude. And one of the things I've learned is that in the past, I was a physical person having a small spiritual touch. And what I found is that when you can see yourself as a spiritual person having a small physical touch, then you actually do not become afraid of fear. I actually run towards it, and people will look at me and they go, "No, you're just saying that." No, I actually run to fear. And when I run to fear, I'm actually validating love. Versus when I run away from fear, I'm validating fear and eliminating love.
Amen to that. That's powerful. Part of the reason I asked him that is I believe in all this, and he's been instrumental in the little messages that he gives me when I come in to visit you. And part of what I was telling you guys earlier is I had pain shooting all over here, and he also told me that it was not only affecting me here, but it was punching me here and affecting my digestion. And I was like, no, it's more of a stab. I feel a stab going on right here, and yeah, absolutely, it's affecting my. And I thought at this point, like I was entering Alzheimer's state because my brain, like 70% of it just felt like it didn't work anymore. And what he said to me was so important because he said, not only that, that nerve is shooting pain up into your brain. And I was like, yes, I feel all that. At times it feels like a lightning rod just buzzing up and down like this. And so the point, when it comes to belief, he brought purpose back in. But most importantly is he showed me love because he not only told me he could help me, but with every little victory, we were high-fiving and hugging. And I wasn't in this man's office very long. So we're like, I love you, Doc. And he's like, I love you too, man. So much love for that part of the journey there, Dr. Rowe.
That says a lot.
Yeah, it was all part of the journey. And then, you get into belief and all of those type of things. I know that impacts it all as well. What I've noticed, Ryu likes to be by his daddy, so say hi to Ryu, everybody. What I've also noticed is that you practice a different form of chiropractic, because a lot of times when I go to chiropractic and other people that I talk to are afraid of chiropractic, they're like, I don't want somebody cranking on my neck and snap, crackle, pop on my back.
Absolutely.
I've noticed you have a different style or a more gentler approach. Can you kind of share what that is and what makes that different?
Absolutely. So we always want to dovetail back around and start repeating truth over and over. So Dr. Sue, University of Colorado Medical School, and this was even as of late, I think it was 2003, somewhere, don't hold me to that date, but we're close.
Yeah.
And he said it takes 4 pounds of pressure to block 64% of nerve flow. Okay, one of the biggest things to really drill home is that if all we are is physical to each other, then we're going to miss the greatest part. Remember the spiritual component and the physical application? Mm-hmm. Well, if we don't understand physical, mental, emotional, psychological, and even the spiritual component, we're going to miss out on a big part. Because if we're talking gratitude, we are not talking about physical, we're talking about through the physical. If you take the hand, the way of the hand, the Tao, or the way of the path, one of my favorite sayings is Aikido. So happiness and energy along the path. Okay. So if you understand the way of the hand, you're not seeing a hand, you're seeing a representation of the heart. And so this is where that truth comes back into that funnel.
Love it.
From the heart to the head to the hand. A waiter can do this. Somebody who, it's a type of readiness that allows you, they see a gentleness, but you have that armor on the inside. This is why you do it. So
all I have to say is, can you guys see why I brought him up here?
Okay. But the truth is that when you touch, so everything comes from the brain. Everything comes from the brain. So just, when God says we're made in His image, right? Yep. So as above, so below, so within, so without, so below, so within to the without, that is above and below. That's healing to and healing from. Wow. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that's the path, that's the Tao. Okay? So whenever we touch someone, we're not doing this. I'm not interested in the pops.
Right.
I am not interested in the cracks. It happens. Mm-hmm. For those who've been adjusted, it happens. It does. Okay. And sometimes just laying your hand, not to be mystical or anything, it's not, that's not what it's about. It's about sometimes the intention sets the tone and then they adjust before we adjust them. So when we make an adjustment, the question is, are we connecting the brain to the body? Mm-hmm. Or are we there just to be, pardon the expression, superficial and listening for a sound? Because I really believe that the person is more importantly respected with intent and tone, intent and tone of understanding the condition versus trying to treat the sound.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the brain, and so take blood pressure. This is a great example. And there was a doctor who, his patients, he was treating cancer patients, right? And he found that his patients that were receiving chiropractic care had lower blood pressure.
Okay.
And I thought, oh my goodness, now the truth has always been there. Now, now it starts to reveal. It doesn't change us, it just reveals who we are.
So true.
And so we see many a case that comes in and they have a left-sided tone. It's called a sympathetic tone. The body is, and by the way, everything's in pairs. You'll see a lot of bunny trails, I apologize. But like there's male, female, day, night, highs and lows. That's,
Right, left.
that's yi, yang.
Okay.
Okay, that's that white and black circle with opposite colors. Okay,
Right.
that is actually a spinal column, and that's on top is the GV, and on the bottom, in between in the groin, is the CV.
Okay.
Okay, and that is male and female. That's the egg and the sperm coming together. That forms a human being. Everything is done in twos. Everything's in pairs. Everything, the number of organs in your body is in pairs. One's hollow, half of them are hollow, and half of them are solid. That's yin yang.
Wow. Love it.
So on the left side of the body, that represents tone. When it's high, the left side, that's so cool, that's female.
Okay.
On the right side is male. What you can't see in blood pressure, it comes up, affects something in here, like there's God mediator man, there's brain mediator body. It's an exact reproduction. And all you have to do is, once you understand it, that calculus equation is now reduced to 2 + 2, and it looks easy, it's simple, but it's not easy, but it's brilliant.
Wow.
Okay.
Love it. That's great stuff. So taking this knowledge and doing what you do at a clinic to help people,
Right.
tell us like what are some of the key benefits, or what are you used to seeing? What's some hope we can give to people that I know you see hope and you see healing all the time with patients just like me, guys. I said I got my body in healing mode. It's amazing how different I am today than I was 3 months ago, and that's what this man said. He said, "Give me 3 months," and I was like, "I'm gonna give you more because I'm already feeling it." So we're at the 3-month point. It's amazing how you've benefited my life. What can you share with people that give them hope for healing?
Okay, truth is evident. Okay, and just dovetailing back to that, truth is evident. It's just not equally dispersed. Okay, walking out in the field with a medicine man one time, and you have roots, you have a stem, and you have a leaf. Each one of those biochemically has a different function. And he was looking for a part of that plant that would help his grandfather with a heart condition. And I said, "What's that for?" And he looked at me and goes, "Don't you know?" And this is a guy who did not know what McDonald's is. He didn't know what TV is. Okay, but he knew a plant. So just because a fish can't ride a bike doesn't mean they're not smart, right? Okay. So what we do is we take a truth and we try to divide it in thirds. We break the cycle. We're going to find it, and we look for the system.
Okay.
And then we're going to know where to treat. And then, like a math equation, we're going to go back and check it. That leads to certainty. And here's the honest truth, and I say this, and I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but the knowledge that we give out of a book, 50% of it's automatically wrong.
Wow.
Okay, automatically. Because
That's a book.
that's a book.
Do we want to talk about the internet, or should we not even go there?
Well, it's like sometimes we own the truth enough that we can create our own ending.
That's very
Okay,
true.
and it takes only 8%, and because I used to do research up here at the Biomedical Science Building, and it would take 8% to show a positive result when 92% would fail. Okay, so I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is what was happening in the 1500s, 1600s, all the way to the 1900s. But if we'll use our recent history, what was going on in the 1900s was invalidated by what was going on in the 1950s, because we thought that was archaic. And then we get to the 1980s, now we say the 1950s is invalidated.
Okay.
And then we get to the year 2000s, and we go, wow, we look at all of this great thing that we can do with food, that food alone. Because if you feed the body, given the opportunity, will do the right thing.
Right.
That alone.
Absolutely.
Okay. makes the 1900s look like what?
Right.
Okay, so if something is continually changing, what's going to happen in the next 20 years?
Mhm.
So the logic in me would say, why am I putting so much energy in what could happen when I could actually realize what's happening right now and what has been consistent through those years? Now, you know, the Chinese and the Japanese, even the Koreans, the Vietnamese, they use sight. Okay, what's the power of sight? It's thousands of miles an hour per second. Okay, so the speed of light. Okay, and you look at that sign and it says, okay, for 50 centuries we've been looking at a visual and it takes 1,000 of our words to describe that visual. Well, it's like they've been using a computer, and we've been slowing it down with handwriting. Okay, so if you want to know how knowledge is like momentum and it compounds upon itself, is use a visual.
Okay.
But when you have to write it down, it slows us down.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's
Fascinating.
so that's
So if you could, talking to the patients out there,
Right.
if there's one thing you could share, for those, for those of you that struggle with back pain, any kind of, I know there's people in this room that are like myself that struggle with numbness and tingling in their limbs. Brain fog, I've found that brain fog is a lot more common and something slowing our brain down, whether it's food or our own body or our pinched nerve. You know, I thought I was depressed for a long time, but I realized my brain just wasn't working right. So what would you say to those type of people, and you know, what would you tell people like me sitting out there?
okay. There's an answer, whether it's a yes or a no. There's an answer. So you need to have hope in that there's an answer. Okay, and if we don't know, it's because we haven't discovered it yet because it already exists.
Amen to that.
Okay, so I'll say this. This is kind of revolutionary, but it is truthful. Everybody's used to hearing a lie, but when they hear the truth, it's different, and they go, oh, and they straighten up. And I see this one. The same energy that created liver cancer is the same energy that'll heal it.
Wow.
Okay, if I see that in the second law of thermodynamics that we say the power that made the body is the same when they heal it, but the same energy is not created or destroyed; it just changes form. If we truly study that in school, we should not change the way that we perceive life and use a different model. The model is that the body uses energy in order to be positive love, negative fear. Okay, positive spiritual, negative not so spiritual. So if you want to be on the positive side of healing and run to fear to compensate and to make sure that love is real, that's the same energy that will heal the body. The power that made that body is the same one to heal it. Okay, now you have a congruency. So everybody has cells that make up tissues, that make up glands, that make up organs, that make up a system. When you understand the system, and I use 6 systems, we have 1 is glandular, 2 is elimination, 3 is neurological, 4 is digestive, 5 is muscular, and 6 is circulatory. When we acknowledge that, all of those systems, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, fit into all those systems. When you can apply that to a condition, you can say, I not only know that you have stomach issues, but I understand you have trust issues as well.
Which he said that to me sitting on his table, and he was right.
And that's why we brought it up.
Yep.
Okay, and then the neurologist will go, oh my gosh, the caudate nuclei, which caudal means rear end, okay, the butt, and rostral, like the nose. Okay, so you have caudal, rostral, like a rooster. Okay, anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, all the same words. It's just different ways of saying it. And then what happens is the caudate nuclei occupies the part of the brain that actually determines whether we trust somebody or not. It's a neuropeptide that's secreted from the brain that goes down through a cord that talks to your stomach, and you go, I have a gut feeling that I should not cross the street. That's a gut issue.
Right.
But it is meant to promote you. It's not meant to hurt you. It's just that when things go to extreme, we call it pain. When we recognize that, fear is now abolished. I run towards it, as I would recommend everybody do that. And now we acknowledge love. And then we say, you're supposed to be strong in trust. You're supposed to be strong in discernment. You just don't need to go to that extreme.
Love it. Thank you so much. And guys, there's 2 things there that he tapped on that are so important. One is gut. He helped my gut, but I was constantly fighting gut health because I realized early on that when I healed my gut with proper nutrition, with CBD oil, with hemp protein, with lots of vegetables, with fermented foods, with eliminating sugars and processed oils. You know, my point is when I did all that, I got my gut running right, and all of a sudden my body started healing itself again.
That's it.
So he helped me with the nerve level part that was going on with the gut. So now all of a sudden my nutrition's working again. So my gut's like healing itself in turbo mode now. That's what it feels like.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Right? It's beautiful.
And so, and like you said, healing comes from the inside out, and when it's connected, it's healthy, and when it's not connected, it's what? It's not healthy.
And so, again, for those of you joining us live or on tape delay via the video series here, the key thing that he started out with, you guys all heard it in his answer, reflected around hope. Our purpose and our passion behind this Lunch and Learn series is to provide hope for healing, because that's what happened with me, and I look forward to sharing it. I see a lot of people in this room that I know have similar stories, so I look forward to highlighting some of your stories in the near future. But Dr. Oak, definitely want to thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Would you share there on the camera, tell everybody where they can find your clinic or your Facebook, or how do they find you and what you do?
Oh, absolutely. You can find us at www.drdanielrowe.com or on Instagram at Dr. Rowe Chiropractic. You can find us in Oklahoma City, 405-751-8880.
And again, it's Dr. Rowe, which is R-O-W-E. I get that question a lot. So, thank you so much. And again, I love you, man. I love you. Thank you for being here. We're capping off a 3-course meal here, vegan style, Asian inspired. So we've got some lovely dessert here. This is actually going to be vanilla oatmeal yogurt with a granola tropical fruit. It's got some papaya in it, some yumminess that Betty and I whipped up, and then it's finished with a beautiful sugar-coated coconut. So as you guys know, I had 3 special guests here that got the first one, and this one is gonna go to, not you, chef, but I love you, man. I'm gonna get him cooking in here next time. This is gonna be one of my other angels that's giving me hope, Miss Kathy. Thank you so much. If anybody needs inspiration for meditation, all you gotta do is talk to this lady for about 2 minutes, and you'll be like, can I talk to you more about meditation? Because she knows all about that heart thing. She's helped me rewire the heart thing to where I can meditate love and abundance and beautiful energy into my heart. So what Dr. Rowe is true, and she's a great, great example of that. So go ahead and let's serve the dessert, ladies. Thank you. Good boy, right, you? All good. So, I've got several things that I'm excited about here at Paseo Pad. One of them is the ability to bring OTU Media and Moto in here, and you guys can see we've already got some amazing content that we've started and created and shared here. We want to be able to offer in-house services for content creation. At a coaching level, I feel like there's nobody better to help me accomplish that than Toby Pedford. I'm going to bring him up here in just a minute. But Toby's been instrumental in my life in multiple industries, working at the CEO or CFO level, not just in his own entrepreneurial endeavors, but also by coaching and executive coaching to numerous other local businesses, everything from medical to healthcare to he's dabbled in a couple others like myself. But his expertise in marketing and executive strategy growth and revenue growth is something that I want to incorporate into my team. So he's part of my team internally in-house to do executive coaching. We both already at an executive coaching level work with numerous local businesses or entrepreneurs or patients in my case. So I look forward to bringing Toby in and being able to offer that to everybody in our network and everybody who's here today. One of the exciting things, not just being able to offer OTU media to do some of the beautiful things that you guys have seen that they've done here with all my graphic design. Toby has an agency that does full service AI work. So I asked him to come up now that you kind of know how he's working with me. I'm like, Toby, why don't you come up here and just sit down? Is this the best place for us right here, Moto? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and a short bit about your background. How'd you even get here in this seat?
Yeah, so short bit about my background. I've spent about 18 years in finance and grew that company from the ground up. So as any entrepreneur does, you know, you start in with one passion and then you kind of have to learn everything. Things like things that are on paper, right? And usually not with people, right? So things like payroll and HR services and as well as insurance, benefit planning, estate planning, and really was able to kind of set up a great structure for my clients there. But then beyond that, because you kind of have to, just the things that you have to do as an entrepreneur, and the folks that I've worked with in that finance space and the consulting services that kind of flowed naturally out of that into things like sales training, helping direct marketing teams and so forth. Along with that comes, in today's world, just lots and lots of technology. Everything that runs your email, that runs your content management, that runs your social media, et cetera, and then your accounting systems and so forth. And so all these pieces are really what make a business, a ministry, a nonprofit go, right? And so systems are a big deal for us. And so one of the things that we say is that you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems, right? And so if you don't have a system to get to where you want to go, kind of first thing is that's where you have to start and establish.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the beautiful things is that with the incorporation of AI and some of the especially great tools that are out there, we have the ability to translate the things that are in your head and the way that you know about how you acquire clients, patients, and others, and we have the ability to put processes into place and chain those together so that not only you don't forget those necessary functions that need to be done, but maybe AI can do some of those for you.
And you know, guys, I really find what he's talking about, excuse me, really find what he's talking about fascinating, because when you really think about what an entrepreneur needs the most, it's that executive backbone, that process, that system that helps them. And a lot of times, I anyways think about AI as, beautiful posts, beautiful photos or art or these beautiful color things that can come out. But at an entrepreneurial level, when I've had AI help me, it's amazing the amount of time that's cut off of processes and systems, because it does it so much more efficiently, right?
Absolutely.
So talk to us more about how does AI really help us as a process system executive get more done in every aspect of our entrepreneurship, right?
Well, so I had a chance when I was in college to take Greek, and our Greek teacher was a guy named Lauren Giger, and he said, I want to teach you Greek, but first I got to teach you English. So, in business, AI and working with AI and working with marketing and working with sales, you really have to start at the beginning. And so the first thing is, let's sit down and talk about what your story really is. Let's talk about what it is that draws people to you, the service that you provide, the healing that you provide, and why it matters to them. So we start there. And if we can craft a really compelling and a really clear story, then we can tell that story to the artificial intelligence in such a way that it will output, it will speak like you, right? I love Dr. Rowe here, and the great information that he was giving. That kind of information is information that we can take and we can put into the things that become your copy, the things that become the way that you engage with patients. And we can make sure that your patients are addressed not only in a timely fashion, but also in a way that really meets the core of what you're trying to convey, right? They can convey your messages for you. And so in your business and in those ways that you're interacting with patients, and it's especially when we're talking about social and digital media, those places where so many people are interacting, you take some content that like OTU will help you produce in a space like Paseo Pad, and using these areas as you look around, really kind of shape your eyes for what would this look like in a cell phone frame, right? And what would it look like if I was able to grab this content and post it everywhere with captions and the right kind of spacing and lighting and all those kinds of things? What kind of story would it tell my patients? Who would I attract if I really was able to craft my story, and how many people could it reach? And so the other thing that it can help us do is find those great partnerships that are there for us, even within our own communities, right? So there's so many things that you can use this space here at Paseo Pad. It is a healing environment, and you want to grow what you do here into more and more reach for your message.
I've known Toby so long that I like to joke that we're twin brothers. You guys see the resemblance, right? Twin brothers from another mother, but I was actually going to segue and ask him a question. He already answered it. So that's how connected we are. So good job there, Toby. But what I like about when I look out at our audience here is I've got an author, a movie producer. I've got another author. I've got an entrepreneur who does Uber and meditation. I've got a nonprofit. I've got people that do executive health coaching, mushroom therapy coaching. I got a chef. I got a marketing media guy. And it's amazing when I just look out here what we got, from an entrepreneur level, right, guys? So from that level, and then you bring in people that are in our network, Toby, that we're talking to on the video series. We've got everything from CEOs to executive health coaches and everywhere in between in every industry. What would you say to them? What's the bottom line about why should they come in here to Paseo Pad, and how can we help them start leveling up with their next project?
Yeah, so Paseo Pad, the way I would describe it in this context is as a space to make your message come alive, right? And so if you're here for an event, if you're here to tell a story, if you're here to do a podcast, if you're here to demonstrate something or some service in one of the spaces in the flex zone here, or over in a more relaxed area, if we're doing one-on-one interviews, really the way that you want to think about this space is this is a place to tell your story and have people connect and engage with it. And then what we'll do is we'll talk about what are the best ways to do that. So we said author a couple of times, right? So if you're an author, we'll talk about making sure that your books are in the formats that they need to be. I can have you talk to us for a little while. We'll translate your voice into an AI and have AI read your book in your voice, right? We'll ask AI to create some different still frames or moving images or small movies that maybe illustrate some of the most important points, right? And then we talk about how do we put those things into action and make them reach the target audience that you're looking for, right? And then beyond that, when they engage with you, how do you get back with them in the most efficient ways and make sure that they have the most frictionless pathways to spend money with you, right? And so those kinds of things, right? So those are the kinds of strategies that we'll sit down, put together, spend time with, and talk about how we use the space to the best ability that we can. And then we'll talk about what other ways we can help.
What do you guys think? That sound like some fun interaction we can create there?
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe in the future I'll start doing a Q&A with myself. It'll be my voice talking to AI. I don't know. Maybe I love my own voice too much. I don't know why that's not what I thought of, right? Definitely want to thank Toby for being here. Guys, if you want to talk to Toby or you want to talk to us as a team, you can go through Toby or Susan to schedule time if you want to talk more about that. But thank you. Definitely got the right man in the house to help us with that. So the next big event, which is actually our grand opening as a concept, it's when we're going to launch Paseo Pad, is at the Super Bowl. You're all invited to the Super Bowl party. Hopefully we'll have a link that goes out soon where you can RSVP. If not, I'm going to put about 75 people in here. Just RSVP directly to me and Susan. We're creating a list already. So if you can be here, plan to be here. But at the Super Bowl party, it's going to be like nothing you've ever seen. We're literally going to interrupt the halftime show. We're going to stop the halftime show because we're going to have our own halftime show. We're going to have our own halftime show that you guys will have even more fun than watching their halftime show and their commercials. Because you know what, guys? We got a commercial going live at the halftime show of the Super Bowl. And we're going to have a live broadcast that'll feel like a sports press conference. And we're going to stream in my business partner from the Philippines. And we're going to have fun. And we're going to release some really cool coaching information at our press conference during the even better halftime show. You guys think the Paseo Pad halftime show is going to be off the hook?
Yeah.
You guys know we can bring it, right? Thank you. Again, big shout out to OTU Media because I'm fully confident in what we're going to knock out of the park at our halftime show because of their great work. So for those of you joining us live, plan to be here or be on the live. We will literally push the halftime show out live. Again, definitely thank you so much for anybody joining this in the future for our video series. Guys, I hope this is one of dozens and dozens and dozens where we keep bringing more hope for healing. Because I know as a patient, it's desperately needed and people are getting sicker, not healthier. And the reality is the information we can bring in here, I promise you, you guys will want to stay tuned in because this will provide hope and a lot of healing and we will highlight it all along the way. And we're going to serve a lot of good food and we're going to enjoy ourselves. So thank you to everybody for being here and joining us today. Give it up for yourselves.